maybe you just randomly from the algorithm clicked on this, but regardless, hello!
Let's begin, shall we?
Hi, hello, welcome in. How's everyone doing today? We are going to get started in with our movie puzzle. Good, Major? You like it? Yeah, we got live in picture. Yeah, we're gonna see how it works. It's an interesting setup I have, but yeah, I think it works. So we'll try it out, see how it works, and yeah, let us. Uh, oh, all right. I think this is Ed Harris. Hello, hi, hello, welcome in. Oh yeah, the Captain Marvel tee have to have it. Um, when I had to get new um, earbuds last week before, the total for them was like 25 bucks and free shipping is 35. So I was like, all right, I need to find Claire. Yeah. Figure that's a name I should know how to spell, right? Um, so the post. So that's Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, but neither of those fit the number of letters. It's a complicated name, I think. We will find out shortly. Kingsman: Secret Service, biggest names in that. Michael Caine. Let's see, it wouldn't be Taron Egerton. Samuel L. Jackson, Colin Firth. Um, oh, what's his name? He played Sinestro as well. Um, why is it not showing me? Okay. Yeah, so we have the post. We have an Oscar winner from 2020. Kingsman: The Secret Service. Oh, Mark Strong. That's who I was thinking. What else do we have? 21 Jump Street. Ah, it's not Brie Larson. Rip. Um, Channing Tatum was in it, but number of letters isn't quite right. Um, who else was in that? Jonah Hill, Dave Franco, Ice Cube was in it. Dakota Johnson was actually in 21 Jump Street. She had a small role, but she was in there. But it's not her. I'm not sure who else was in it. Nick Offerman, good call. Yeah. Which Jump Street? The movie. Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, these are all movies. Well, they're supposed to be. We got one a couple weeks ago that was actually a TV show that it shouldn't have been. Uh, but we don't get hung up on stuff like that. The Hangover Part 2. Oh, is it Zach Galifianakis? I don't know. Something like that. And then War of the Worlds 2005. It's not Tom Cruise. No, I don't know how to spell it. I just know that we need an I there. I think it might be like double N. Something like that. Oh, Tim Robbins was also in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is Ed Harris. We did some work. We got some guesses right, so we'll go ahead and fill this out. So, of course, 1985, Sally Field. Of course it's Sally Field. The Post, Sarah Paulson was in that. Okay. Oscar winner 2020 was Brad Pitt. Alright. Kingsman Secret Service. That's funny, actually. It was Mark Hamill, not Luke Hamill, because we don't make that mistake. But it actually works with Mark Strong as well. Good call, Major, on Nick Offerman, Zach Galifianakis. We got a decent number of letters, right? So, we did pretty good. And we got the final clue, Ed Harris. So, GG team, keeping our new streak going, even though, because we don't play this every day, it counts it as not continuing the streak, but we've got the last couple, so we're doing alright. Alright, so let us switch over to try to do some writing on our writing and reading stream. Previously, we had a whole heck of a long conversation between Helene and Bryn, and some flashbacks, and some exposition. Ultimately, what it leads to is Bryn leading Helene on a car ride in the desert. So we're going to pick up in the desert. We have to get Bryn and Helene to a remote site, and then Bryn lead Helene into a trap by the hunters in which Helene is captured. So, that's the goal. Let's copy that. So I probably should have thought about what this base would be. So out kind of near Las Vegas, there's a couple of big sites. I feel like some other movies have already done like secret base inside Hoover Dam and stuff like that. So I don't think we need to do that. The other obvious one is something like Area 51 or some kind of like military base. So I almost think that's probably the way to go. That it's just a remote base in the middle of the desert. It's made to look, we could do, but we are in the 1960s. Oh, we can tie it into, someone brought up previously that they used to do live nuclear testing outside of Las Vegas. So presumably they have an area, I would hope, kind of marked off that they wouldn't want the public into. So what if they have the base beyond that, and they use the nuclear tests as kind of a way to hide their activities. Question mark? Maybe? I think that's a... I think it's something that's not been done before, that I can think of at least, and I think it could be kind of interesting. I don't know that they would have images of the outside of the testing sites. Let's also go interior, exterior car, highway. Then we're going to continue with interior, exterior, car. Highway. Sorry, I'm trying to think about the technical logistics of how they probably would set this up, because they wouldn't have like a highway leading right to it. There would probably be like an access road off of the highway that would take them to a security checkpoint. Yes? So let's not say highway, let's say access road. Security checkpoint. To where? Naughty Dog. Hi, hello, welcome in. So I was saying, I think what we're going to do for the Hunter secret base is they would use the live nuclear testing outside of Las Vegas as cover for their secret lair. So I'm trying to think of practically where it would be in regards to okay, they take the highway outside of Vegas, then my assumption from there is they would have to take some kind of access road, and then they would take that until they met some kind of security checkpoint. Yeah, the highway wouldn't go directly to a secret base. Yes, exactly. White Sands is in. I've been to White Sands. It's interesting. Is that how far away the tests were? Yeah, White Sands is in New Mexico. Then again, because they could see them from Las Vegas, they were probably still... Yeah, they were probably still... What? It's based in the United States. We're in 1960. Yeah, America. So the previous scene took place in Las Vegas in the 1960s. And I think it was Naughty Dog who brought up previously that they used to do testing for nuclear explosions outside of Las Vegas as a light show. There was a test site in the Mojave, can't think of the name. Yeah, I mean, ultimately we don't need to know exactly the name because it's going to be kind of a fictional thing. but just like I like taking the idea of something real and building something fictional kind of around it. So we know that in the 60s they did these tests, so now we're thinking logically like, okay, if we were using that to hide a base, kind of how would we do it? And yeah, like someone said, they wouldn't like have a highway lead directly to it. They would have the highway, and then they'd need to go off the highway ways, and then they'd have some more security. So I think that's where we're at. Subway tunnels that aren't closed. They wouldn't have subway tunnels in Las Vegas or Nevada. Yeah, kind of anywhere on the West Coast, they wouldn't have those because the threat of earthquakes. Alright, so we'll say... driving along the unpaved road, clean slows, finding... It would probably... some long-ass two-lane highway, just heading out. Yeah. Yeah, earthquakes are a thing here. Yeah, so we have this first scene of them driving along kind of a remote highway, and then we'll jump ahead to driving along the unpaved road. So kind of, they've obviously gone off the highway somewhere that's much less trafficked. Is only one Alan patrolling? Yeah. Patrolling a... Oh no. The T goes before the R. Patroll. I just had one too many letters in there. It's fine. It happens. Patrolling... So let's say secure site. Alright, so we're driving along an unpaved road, and then she slows, finding security guards at a security checkpoint. Okay, how do they get past the security checkpoint? They go magic stuff. No, we don't do magic here. Lane pulls the car to a stop. Urge approach. We established they can rust and control metal. Fences would probably be chain link. Yeah. Yeah, so my initial thought was, do they do magic? But maybe we subvert expectations and Bryn, like, has a security badge or something. Or... let's think. Security guard. So let's set this up. So what would... It wouldn't be a biohazard, so what kind of warning signs could they have on the fence? Radioactivity, right? Radioactivity signs posted. Yeah, that's probably too long, but that's fine. Sorry, what did I miss? Really depends on their intentions, how they normally act. Are these characters passive? Waves hand. Yeah. These are not the witches you are looking for. Al needs your identification. Move along. Radiation, no trespassing. Violators will be shot. Yeah, something like that. Security guards patrolling a checkpoint. That's redundant. Chain link fence extending as far as you can see. Radioactive warning signs. Chain link fence with radioactive warning signs for radioactive. Chain link fence. Warning signs for radioactivity. Something. A chain link fence is supposed to. The radiation symbol is called a trifoil? Trefoil? Huh? The radiation trefoil is a universal hazard symbol for ionizing radiation. There we go. Driving along the unpaved road, holding slows, finding security guards, patrolling a checkpoint, surrounded by chain link fence with posted warning signs for radioactivity. And then, she already glanced. So Helene looks at it at Bryn. Nah, we don't need to build too much tension here. Because this isn't where we need to build the tension, just the fact that they're having to get stopped here, and then we're subverting expectations. That's what we want to do with this scene. Okay, yeah. definitely a surprise. Lean drives through. Okay. Okay, so now where did they go? They got through security. Alright, so they got through security. They're going to probably have to continue driving for a little while till they reach kind of the main... What would that even be called? Complex? Yeah, they would probably have hangars, but I'm thinking of it would be kind of multi-building. Complex compound, yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. Mariners! Hi, hello. How's it going? Ooh, Mariners building the streak back up. Oh. Yeah, Major, of course. I know you've had quite the day. Yeah, go get your sleep. You need it. And I appreciate you. Yeah, my chair is my couch. So, yes, it is very comfortable. Alright, Major. I will talk to you later. Um, alright, so we'll say... Uh, also, did you review? So sorry. Alright, yeah, I will take a look at that probably tomorrow. But yeah, you're all good. I still have a couple days to try to finish up the edits before I try to turn it in. So yeah, I will take a look at that tomorrow. Mookie, Hi. Hello. Welcome in. Um, there is no refrigerator that I am aware of. Yeah, I'm trying to get it finished up by this weekend. Because originally the horror competition, I thought it was actually the end of this month, but it's the end of next month. But there's another competition that you have to have it posted up for a week, and that ends at the end of the month. So I'm trying to get it in by, I think Saturday is the last day. So, yeah, got a couple of days. Got plenty of time. You have already won. Aw, Mariners. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you. Real prizes are relevant. um, yeah, one of them is getting a movie made. The other one is going to a writer's retreat in Southern California. So I would also like the real prizes, Mariners. Mariners is the prize. I don't think there's open voting with these. Military and scientific personnel. Is there a contest going on? Yeah, separate thing I'm writing. I'm trying to finish it up soon so I can enter it into some competitions. Yeah, Mariners is to keep it fair for everyone else. The downside of being a famous influencer. Um, yeah, I'll let you know when that happens. Yeah, that the one with the writing retreat is only open to people who have made under a certain amount of money from writing. So that has a very definite threshold of it's strictly aimed at amateur writers. The one that is to produce the actual movie is open to all writers. Yeah, I mean, someone could lie for it, but I mean, if you get found out, it's probably like real bad. What's a better word for wander? Because they're not like aimlessly walking, they're more like strategically going from one to another. Roam, traverse, migrate, meet. Um. Oh, we'll just say march. They're military. Like to see how low the salary cap is. Some screenplays make money. Minimum payout for purchasing a good treatment is like 24K. The one for the writer's retreat, the salary cap for it is you cannot have made more than 100,000 through writing. Yeah, the Writers Guild for screenplays sets um, all the tiers for, well, at least the baseline for um, selling scripts. So, yeah. William pulls on party by various military and we don't need to say various, just military scientific personnel march from to and from various buildings. Yeah, and 100K for, yeah. Yeah, they only want amateurs for the writing retreat. Exactly. Yeah, everyone just has a spare 100K sitting around. Looks at bank account, $1. Average, huh? I think I could go for that. Yeah, exactly. 100K, I'd probably start saving up for Starbucks. Studio writers average 500K for first draft. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, screenwriters, actors, people who work on movies, a lot of times it sounds like they make a lot more than they actually take home. Because let's say 500K for a first draft. That person's probably working on that for anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And that's their total take home. Yeah, for a year or two is probably more realistic. And then you have to pay your manager, you have to pay your agent, you have to pay your accountant, and you have to pay taxes. So that 500K is immediately down to about 200K. And that's your income for 1 to 2 years. Unless you're able to find other work as well. So don't get me wrong, it's still more than I make a year. But yeah, it's not quite as extravagant as I think a lot of people presume. Yeah, and the lawyer, I forgot about that. Mariners, do you know how much it costs to rent a one-bedroom apartment in LA? 200K. You're surviving, you're doing fine, don't get me wrong, but like you are not thriving. No, don't get me wrong, studio writing sucks. Some studio writers are happy to leave. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other part of it is most of them have to live in LA because they have to be by the studios so they can be on call if they need them to like write during productions as well. I would say a one bedroom apartment in LA is probably a little more than I pay. So it's probably about 3 grand a month for like pretty bare bones one bedroom apartment. And so you think of that, that's 36K a year. If you're averaging take home about 100K a year, that's about a third of your money already gone. So yeah, it goes fast. They also have to hand in physical drafts most of the time. It's most NDA. Yeah. Difficult to get your foot in the door. Foot is not. Yeah. That is very true. Yeah, some people are able to write outside of LA, but it seems like you have to be established before you can do that. More than the aliens? Mariners is either very superstitious or very racist. It could be. What? Did I miss something in chat? The aliens. Because I think it could be taken as aliens as a synonym for immigrants, not aliens as a synonym for extraterrestrial beings. Oh, right, he's British. Never ever heard what, Mariners? Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately in America, it's often used in the context of illegal aliens as people coming from outside the country into the country. You meant space flying thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those words that has two meanings. That's why I said superstition. What script page are you up to? Where are we in the story arc? We are up to page 83. So we are pretty good ways into it. Right now, basically the arc of the story is we're kind of ending more or less Helene's arc for until we pick it up at the end. Um, but we've been with Helene for a little bit. She's basically being led into a trap, and then we're gonna pick up with Margaret and follow her, and she's gonna reconnect with Helene at the end to help free her from that trap. So we still have a little bit more to go. I'm thinking around 100 to 120 page range. So we're 3/4, 2/3 of the way, depending on where we actually end up. We've ruined the word aliens for mariners. I'm sorry, mariners. Toy Story is ruined! Watch Alienation, the movie, not the series. Oh. Yeah, there was also a series I watched way back in the day called V, the remake series. The first season was pretty decent, but it was basically like actual aliens come to Earth, but they're treated as immigrants, and they are unfortunately evil. Mm. Is he the one where the human gave birth to the alien baby? Maybe. I think it was on when I was in like high school, so it's been a while. TV series 2009. I wasn't not. That was post high school? Really? And it did have Marina Baccarin in it, and that's not the only reason I watched it. Probably. Different take on the original V. The original had the alien show up with the intention to just straight up conquer us. Oh, yeah, I don't know about the original. And like I said, it's been a while. Extraterrestrial race arrives on Earth with seemingly good intentions, only to slowly reveal their true machinations the more integrated into society they become. Yeah. Like I said, the first season was pretty interesting, and then, like a lot of series, it starts flying way off the handles. Yeah, the aliens were like reptiles wearing people skin, so they could like blend in better. Um, Military building. Like Halloween. Exactly like Halloween. That's when we all put on our people skins. I don't know if Halloween has a double turn Mariners. Not that I am aware of. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what I want to have happen inside the building. So from here, basically, I want them to go into the building, down an elevator, and they'll be in the tunnels to like the secret base, and then the trap. Yeah, sorry, I got stuck. I should have the um, hanging. What is it called? The thinking signal on my head. Yeah, I was stuck for a sec trying to think about what I wanted the scene, how I want the scenes to play out. They play Monopoly. No. Maybe next one. Yeah, maybe. I don't think I have any movies where I have. Well, I mean, St. Maria's they stop and play a card game to try to pass the time. Not exactly Monopoly, but we got a card game. Can you get sued if you show it? Um, I don't know. I mean, the way that I've kind of always thought about and that has been explained to me is basically like write whatever you want to write. So if you want to say they're playing Monopoly, write they're playing Monopoly. But when you go to film it, that's when the lawyers will step in and they'll probably reach out to the brand, see if you can get permission or if you need to do um, or if you need to swap it for like a generic or something. So yeah, yeah, you need permission to show brands. I think there are some exceptions, but for the most part, yeah. When you go into production, that's when the lawyers will get involved and they'll say, you can use this, you can't use this, you can use this, you can't use this. I mean, Parker Brothers brought the rights to Ouija, perfect product placements on. Yeah. And they made a movie based on Ouija boards. Is that why no Viking movie has iPhone? What? Yeah, those are the board things with the letters and the little like um it almost looks like a spade with like the little circle in the middle. The Ouija movie suck it from both ends. uh are there spirits here? Yeah, if you're writing a movie about a specific product, that becomes kind of something else. You want to have the rights to do that beforehand, otherwise you're wasting your time. Which is fine because like once we get done with the witch story, like I have some ideas for what we could do next, and some of that stuff is like um, based on existing IP, and like I'm going into it fully well knowing it's never going to get made if I do that, but it's more of a writing exercise. But if you think you're going to get a movie made about an existing product without getting the rights before you start writing, bad idea. I think that's why the screenplay about the history of Snapchat is blacklisted. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, because, like, if you go through the process of writing the screenplay about an existing product, um, and if you get it into some stage of production, the product that the company that owns the product that you wrote it about, they have all of the leverage. They can ask for anything at that point. That's why you want to figure out a deal as early as possible on stuff like that. Otherwise, you're just begging for trouble. $0.10. Take it or leave it. That's what you're trying to do with cash right now. Mariners, I don't remember the exact amount, but I have heard that Stephen King will, um, I don't know if he sells them outright or like leases them for a certain amount of time for the rights to a lot of his stories for very low prices. Bar is on the floor for cats. That's my shot. Oh, for indie filmmaker. Yeah. Yeah, for studios, he wants the big checks. Guy wrote 37 million books. He can spare us. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, that is the prerogative of the writers. If they want other people to be able to adapt their work, they're allowed to. If they don't, if they want it to be theirs and only theirs, that is completely up to them. Did you get permission from Wicked before writing this? No, because it's not based on Wicked. Meh. Probably added one too many. Yeah. Actually, no. I was gonna have her snatch up like a security card or something, but I don't know that they would have like security badges. How many times did you shout at OBS while setting the webcam up? Actually, not that many. It worked pretty well right out of the box. The main thing that wasn't clear that I had to look up was how to um, crop the image down. Because, like, the actual webcam is across the room on my TV, and so um, the picture it was getting was like my entire living room. So it was I wanted to crop it down to just me. Um, so yeah, magnetic strip technology was invented in 1960. Okay. Okay. I have kind of an idea. Um, oh, wow. We are well over an hour into stream. So let's actually take a quick break. I'm gonna go away. It's okay. Still kind of here. I probably need to bring up words on stream because I didn't do that because I'm a slacker. But it's fine. Alright. I'm disappearing. Oh no, he's gone. I'm going to throw up words on stream for anyone who would like to participate. Letters come up. uh, Type the words in chat. They'll tell you if they are right or not. Good luck. Have fun. I'll be back in a few. done team. Yeah, it took me a while to get used to that as well. Having to wait for the locks to clear. Yeah, Naughty Dog with the hard carry, with the gold. Mariners putting in some work, and I was here. I helped. I was here for part of it. Hello, I'm back. Alright. Let us try to do some more writing on our writing and reading stream. Mascot Fitty for more. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I literally, like, before I leave, I'll look and see if any words jump to my head, and I'll put those in. Otherwise, I'm like, I'll just restart it after I get back. What was the meal prep for this week? This week I did pasta with spicy red sauce and Italian sausage. So, very good. I like it. Italians will probably hate the way that I do my pasta and red sauce, but it comes out good, so I like it. What even is the time limit between words? I don't know. I think it just meant to give other people in chat an opportunity to put in words. So it's not just one person doing all of it. From a jar, like Nona used to make. No, I make my own red sauce. I just do everything in one pot. So I basically cook out the sausage, put that aside, do like onions, peppers, garlic, add the crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, and then I'll add some like vegetable stock, bring that to a simmer, and then cook the pasta directly in all of that. So the pasta actually absorbs up some of the tomato sauce. Yeah, I like the way it turns out, and it's all in one pot instead of cooking the pasta separate. Which I think Italians would like gasp if they heard how I cooked it. So shh, don't tell Yoon. Italians didn't even taking it off. Yeah, I have made my own. Well, I helped make my own pasta. Um, my dad's always been very into cooking. Um, my parents went on a trip to Italy a couple years ago at this point, and they did like the pasta making classes and everything. So um, when we get together for end of year holidays, um, we made our own pasta one year. Boil the water, open the box. Yeah, one thing I found out from watching a lot of cooking shows is a lot of chefs will even say, um, fresh pasta is better for certain dishes, and box pasta is actually better for certain dishes. So, like, yeah. Not even professional chefs always use fresh pasta because there are some dishes where it just doesn't hold up quite as well. Would it be a captain? I used to know this because of something else I wrote. Might be like a major general. Highest rank U.S. military base generally ranges from colonel to a general or okay, so it wouldn't be a general or an admiral. A colonel. Yeah, I think a colonel works. There's an MMA fighter named Mikey Musemi. He fasts or used to for 24 hours and he eats 7k calories worth of homemade pasta and pizza. What? Yeah, I knew like intermittent fasting was a thing. But it's also, I mean, it's intake versus outtake, or output, rather. So, I mean, if the dude's an MMA fighter, if he eats 7k calories, like, he's burning that much training. Yeah. So it might seem like a lot to eat in one sitting, which it is. But he probably also burns that much. That's why, like, The Rock, when he was, like, at his biggest, most buff, and, like, Hugh Jackman talked about this when he was playing Wolverine, like, he would force himself to have to... Oh, no, I would not. No, Mariners, no, 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 no. I am not a fighter. The Rock will never reach his biggest, it seems. Yeah. But they would have to, like, eat 2,000 calories every, like, 2 to 4 hours. Like, it's... They'd have to, like, set alarms to wake themselves up in the middle of the night to just intake more calories. What did we say? A colonel. Unrelated. Do The Rock, do actors need to do drug tests? I don't believe for... Yeah, it depends on the actor and depends on the drug situation, because there are probably certain situations where the insurance, if like an actor is a known addict or something, the insurance would have guidelines in place that they'd have to like pass drug tests or something. Um, but for like HGH and stuff like that, they probably don't test or care that much. Some pro cyclists used to have to wake themselves up at night to cycle, stop their heart rate from getting too low. Yeah, a lot of the actor, yeah, it's definitely not natural. Yeah, Tom Size, yeah, persona non grata in Hollywood for a long time. Yeah, and that's why, like, after Robert Downey Jr. got out of jail for doing his time for substance abuse, um, it was very difficult for him to get insured to be in movies. And that's why, like, he would take such low salaries initially, because the insurance was so high, he'd have to try to offset it by taking a lower salary. But obviously, he's, as far as anyone knows, he's been clean since he got out and hasn't had to deal with anything like that again, so he's able to basically write his own check on anything he wants at this point. Would oven elevator not work better? Doors. Yeah. Reaching the doors of an elevator. Yeah. I'll take 50% of the profit. Well, I mean, 50% of 0, if you're good at math, Mariners, is 0. So, enjoy your share of 0. Enjoy your lurk, Mariners. just bewildered. Yeah, I think that works. Alright. So, doors to the elevator close. Colonel turns. Not like disintegrates, like they collapse to the ground. Should it be crumples? I think I meant crumples. Nope. Yeah, crumble, crumple. I guess I could just say he drops to the ground. Buckles might make more sense. Just made him relive. Yeah. I actually like that. He'll be fine, probably. I just had him relive boot camp. All of it, in a second. UNCH. "13. Hi, hello. How are you doing? Welcome in." And I found his security code. Are you a writer as well? Or are you just hanging out? So the elevator gives a... I don't want to say jolt. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I want to have a scene of Bryn doing something interesting. So I feel like that was fairly interesting. So we have Bryn driving Helene to the desert, so that's done. And she is currently leading her into El Trap. Okay, so how would we want to describe this? No, let's get as motivated. You get to run. Yeah. Yeah, because to this point, we've only had the seers, like, helping other people find existing information and looking into their memories. But I feel like if they can look into someone's memories, they can do more with that. So I kind of wanted to play around with something to do with that. Corridor, underground. Alright, now the question is, how does she walk her into the trap without her seeing it coming? What's the trap? Um, that is also a good question. um, so what I'm thinking is, um, because previously the hunters had the captured witches with like the shackles with the runes on them that would prevent them from using magic. So I feel like the evolution of that would be to have the runes be on the witches' cells. So they would want her to walk into something and be able to close doors around her to trap her in a space with runes, wards, whatever we call them, um, that would prevent her from being able to use magic to escape instantly. And we have to remember it's the 1960s, so yeah, they could be at the base of like a shuttered missile silo. They could have set this up. I'm just trying to decide like um how much do we need to build any more tension, or how much more tension do we need to build before the trap is sprung? Because I feel like we have this build up of Bryn telling her I know where the hunters are, them driving out to the site, getting past the security guards, walking past the hunters, descending the elevator. Like they're going through all these obstacles, and it all is kind of easy, which is fine because it's a trap. I don't know, I might be overthinking this. Which is also a real possibility. Um, yeah, I might just be overthinking this. Let's just write it, see what happens. I think you could say this is almost too easy. Boom, trap. Yeah, yeah, that is a little cliche. It is a cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. How about this? Silos open, and the heavy door at the top sign shut, absolutely covered in runes. So the end scene, we're going to come back here, and we need Margaret to be able to do some magic. So there's going to be probably a plot contrivance of why they don't just cover the whole place in runes, that they keep it constricted to just the um, cells for the witches. Launches a missile, pricks through the top. I think that would kill everyone in the silo, but it's a thought. Sorry, I'm trying to think about like how the blocking of the scene would look. Move him out of the corridor. Okay, so we'll say clean. Is that the right word? This machine is surrounded by cages. Yeah. At least they're tossing these coins for all these friggin' ads. A little bit. What the? Stop popping up with stuff. Lane sneaks into a narrow alcove overlooking a cavernous space filled with tunnels. A massive machine in the center surrounded by cages with captured witches. It's getting to that part of the stream where the words aren't wording. Okay. I think that's where we want this scene to end. We went a little long tonight, but I wanted to get through the trap that we've been setting up for the last, like, 2 weeks. Where did we start off today? There's where we started off. Alright. How do we do? 626. Not bad. Not our most productive stream, but a lot of this was stuff that like I haven't really seen in my head exactly how the scenes were gonna play out. So a lot of it was like, all right, how exactly are we gonna do this part? Okay, what comes after that? Okay, what comes after that? But we always knew kind of where it was leading to. So now we finally got there. Helene is trapped. She's prisoner of the hunters. And now we're into the end game. Margaret is going to. We're going to go back to Margaret and follow her through the end. So, yeah, we are getting there. We are making a lot of progress. So, progress good. Um, Let me see who is streaming, and we can go right over to someone. So we have author Chrissy is streaming. Um, yeah, we can go over there. Unless anyone has other suggestions for someone they would like to raid. Let me bye. Get the raid started. Ooh. All right. We are gonna raid over author Chrissy, see what they are up to. Um, I should be back on Thursday, right? With next stream. And we will pick up, like I said, with Margaret and see what she's been up to since we last saw her. Uh, yeah, thank you again, everyone stopping by, hanging out, lurking, chatting, all the stuff, all the things. I appreciate you all. Uh, yeah, we'll be back Thursday, do some more writing, and until then, I will see y'all next time.
Thanks for checking out my channel. Do whatever you want, live your life. I hope you're happy in your body. Much love to you, and see you around.